Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video I had a few people ask me to do for the tabs that I use in the top of my planner. I've made a few different sets. I have a rainbow set, I have a pink set, but just these tabs, they're little floating tabs that you can use to mark pages. Sorry about that, but I wanted to make a quick video to show how I make them. You're going to need lamination paper, a laminator, and some sort of vinyl. This is oil slick, I think is the color of it. It's really pretty. I don't have any of these, so I thought I'd make those. Something to cut, whether it be scissors or a paper trimmer, and then most of it's just going to be what you prefer, how you want them to look. If you want the tabs rounded, which I do round mine, I have a little corner rounder that I use, and then the length, how long you need them to be. Mine are pretty long. They stay in the planner pretty well, but they're this is just, yeah, however long you want to cut them. You need to make sure that you have enough room on your lamination paper when you trim it down, because you will need to trim this before we put the tabs on. So we're going to go to the computer and I'll show you how we set it up. I'm using a Silhouette. You can also do this in Cricut Design Space, but for this video I only have my Silhouette set up, so we're going to use that. So let's go over to the computer.
So here we're in Design Space, and I'm just going to show you, because I keep mine saved, this is what my tabs look like. I just keep that in there, but I'm going to make one for you so you can see how you should make them. So you're going to choose your style, which I just use little square box, and make a rectangle. And then I'm going to size it to the width that I want. I try to keep them all about the same size. So I use 1.5 wide, 1.5 inches width, and then the height I just kind of eyeball after that, because I am going to add words to the top, so I want it to be the same size as all the rest of them. I don't want it to stick up. So I will ultimately size it one more time at the end to make sure they're all very similar in size, but I also don't want the letters to be so small that you can't read them. So I'm going to use Arial Black as my font just because it's block. It's very easy to weed, and you don't have to worry about it being like cutting weird, being too thin or something like that. So I always use just a simple Arial Black, and it's bold. So then I make the words just a little bit smaller and bring them up to my tab. And then I'm going to zoom in and show you that they need to line up. So I line up like the edge, the left corner edge, and then I make my letters just a little bit smaller so that they fit. And then I realized that I always do them in uppercase, because like the P wouldn't look like a P, because you need all your letters to be connected to the bottom little tab. So I retyped it in all uppercase and then resize one more time. And as you can see, you want your letters to just barely overlap that top edge. And I'm just going to make sure that they're centered, that both the letters are centered with the little box. And then what you need to do is make sure that they're both selected and go up to the go up to the weld or you can right click and drop down to the weld button and it will weld them together. So then it looks like this, and it's all connected. So when you finish um, with your vinyl cut, it will all be connected, and it's just a lot easier to deal with if your letters are connected. So I bring it up and line it up with the top of my other boxes, and then I just move it up just a little bit. I mean, you could be more technical, but again, I don't want my letters to get so small up here that you can't read them or that they don't cut properly, because you can see most of my other letters are a lot bigger, but that's just because less letters equals bigger. So then you click the send button to send it over to your silhouette, and make sure that all of your settings are correct and that you're using the right type of material that you want to cut. Load your silhouette up, and then you're just going to hit the send button and wait for it to cut. And that's it for this part.
Okay, so I have cut my vinyl, and what you'll need to do is cut your lamination paper. So size really doesn't matter as long as you have enough for your tabs on one part, which is going to go inside and be laminated for your other part, and the other part just needs to be able to, hope you can see that the part that's going inside does need to have enough room on all of the edges to be properly sealed. So what we're going to do is weed our vinyl, and then we're going to stick it on this, and then we'll put it inside the lamination sheet and laminate it and then cut them out. So first, what you'll need to do is take your laminating sheet after you've cut it, and there are slick side and the matte, like more textured side. You need to actually flip both pieces, flip them both, and then put both shiny sticky sides together, and it slides really easy because they're both sticky. So you'll need textured on the outside here, and when you flip it over, textured matte side as well here. And both of your slick sides are going to be the inside touching. That's very important, because if you don't do that, it will laminate together, because this is what sticks. When it melts, the outside here, the textured part, is what adheres to itself. So that's why you also need to have another sheet that you're going to, if I can get it apart, place it inside of, like that. So these two sheets, and you'll have to make sure that you line them up properly, but they'll make like sort of a pocket on the inside because the shiny side is touching. So okay, so we're going to weed the vinyl, and I just kind of pull off the main larger sheet. And then let's get a piece of paper. It's easier to see if you have something kind of behind it when you're laying these down to line them up with. So we have our laminating sheets, and you need to make sure that the one on top is the one that you're working on. Again, textured side up. And what I do is I just kind of lay it down, and line it up with the bottom of the sheet of paper so I know that my tabs are going to be straight. And then I just peel them up. And it should weed the rest of the little center pieces out when you do that. Now, where I'm going to line them up with is the top of this laminating sheet. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you want the top of the bar, not the top of the letters, you want the top of the bar to be even with the top of that lamination sheet. And don't push too hard, you don't want it to stick to the paper. We left a little piece of vinyl in there, so yeah, just make sure that there aren't. Most pieces will come out, but these little M's are little small pieces, so they didn't come out all the way. Okay. Now you need to leave some space in between, but you don't want to leave a lot or you're going to just waste a bunch of your laminating sheet. Now if you don't feel comfortable, like I've done this several times, and I say that and then I stick it down wrong. I've done them several times, and so I have no problems with like cutting very thinly in between there, but you do need to leave a little bit of space so that they're sealed properly. And just go down the sheet, laying them down. Now I just made the brain dump because I wanted to show you how to make them since I already had my tabs generally made. I really don't have a use for that, so I'm not going to use that one. If you need more room, you can just cut more lamination paper to make sure that you have enough to go across. And then I'll probably do that one later, but this is just kind of to show you guys how to do it. All right, so you make sure they're all stuck down, just not stuck to the paper. And then again, you're going to make sure that we have shiny side up and shiny side down and put them together so that shiny sides are together on that. You need to make sure that they are very well lined up. Because if they aren't, they won't attach properly. And what I do is I always cut this piece out of the edge that is not sealed. Makes it a little easier to line them up if you keep this sealed edge here, because then I just stick them all the way down into that sealed edge, and that makes sure that they're nice and straight and lined up. And then you just kind of look and make sure your edges are nice and straight of your lamination paper. And then you just run it through a laminator. Easy as that. Okay, so after they come out of the laminator, when I send them through, I do put them in a sheet of paper and feed them in like you would normally feed in the sheet of, lamination paper, just to keep it from getting caught inside because this is a smaller sheet. So I want to make sure it doesn't get wrinkled up. And I did trim it down just a little bit so I could show you with my little table trimmer. My other trimmer will not fit up here. It's too large. So I wanted to be able to show you how I cut them, so I just trimmed the bottom off. But, I mean, basically, then all you're going to do is line up the side. Make sure you don't cut into the vinyl. Let's do it this way because I'm right-handed and I don't want to mess them up. So just line them up and trim them down. And let's see. I try to start it up the top. It's just usually easier to pull them down, but and then trim them to whatever size you desire. And I do like mine like a little bit longer, just so there's no problem keeping them on the page. And then they will open at the bottom. So you have your little tab that will fit over your piece of paper and stay on. And that's it. Trim the rest of them, and I think I made that one a little shorter than I normally like them, but then you'll just trim the rest of them and round the corners at the top if you want. You can also trim the top if you want, if it's a little bit too long, which these are. For my liking, just be careful not to cut into the little bubble that the laminator creates, because then you'll unseal your tab and it will fall apart. But yep, just like that. They're really easy to make. They might take you a time or two. Just to get things perfectly how you like them, but I mean, they're pretty easy to make, and that's it. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment, message me here or on Instagram. And I hope you enjoy making these. I actually really do. I think they're really fun to make, and they're really fun to use, and I have no patience. So I mean, I enjoy supporting other people and buying things, but most people that make these tend to have a pretty long wait list. So sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them. So if you can make your own, I recommend it. They're fun, they're cute, and they just, you know, add a little more personality to your planner. So let me know if you need any assistance or anything else with these, and like and subscribe if you like this video. If you want to see my next video, ring the bell so you get notified when it goes live. And that's about it. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.